To the Gold Coast. Buffering's about to walk past behind us here, and I thought you were about to sign an autograph there.
No, it was for Chris Simons. It was the helmet cam for Brownie.
OK, how you feeling? You got excited owners behind you?
As I said to you a moment ago, I don't know how the bloody hell Moody did this 25 times. $1.20 favourite, but I'd rather be 5s on than 25 to 1.
You had to target a race like this with $1 million up for grabs.
Exactly, Greg, and that's why I'm here. They put this concept up in the $10 million day, and end of the day, we've got some of the best horses all over Australia.
He's just has not turned a hair in this humidity. He's just walking around the yard like he owns it. He probably does. Look, he's a champion sprinter. He looks too good on paper. Look, if you look trying to pull negatives out, he's not...
Right, race 3 at the Gold Coast. Jeff Lloyd is only just being left.
Starter has them racing now, and over on the outside, Saga of the Storm came out poorly. Buffering was away well. He's third after 150. Mr. Booz and Chooser Saga the first two. There's Buffering on the outside. He strides up to go to second. Steel Zipper's up to fourth. Any more 50 inside. Siegfried, Rising Luck, Abu Ben. Last of all, but Buffering the champ down the side. He led the way here by a length from Mr. Booz, and 2.5 lengths away. Third is Any More. Chooser Saga on the centre, and then Steel Zip on the outside, who's been 3 wide, length and a half to Rising Luck, and then Siegfried, Duchess, Molly, Spur, Lejeune, Abu Ben Adam, and Saga of the Storm is back third. Last the final two, Mr. Jet Set and Daosaichi. Buffering narrowly, he led by a neck from Steel Zip, who's been wide. Mr. Booz in the centre, Any More the next one, and Siegfried on the outside, but he got away. Buffering, he led by a length and a half to Mr. Booz. Steel Zip on the outside, and Siegfried the next one. Buffering the leader. Mr. Booz about a length and a half away. Steel Zip on the outside, but Buffering, he's going well with 100 metres left to go. He's holding them. The pride of Queensland. He's our champ. Buffering, he goes all the way, wins it by 2 lengths to Mr. Booz. Photo third, Spur Lejeune, Steel Zip, followed by Saga of the Storm, and then Duchess, Molly, Any More, Siegfried, Daosaichi, Rising Luck, Abu Ben Adam, Chooser Saga.
He's done it. He's topped the $6 million in prize money, this great Queenslander. He is the pride of this state. He's travelled all over the country. They love him in Perth. They love him in Sydney and in Melbourne. But up here, he's something special. And Damien Brown, another armchair ride, Ronnie.
Yeah, always in control, wasn't he? That's as far as he wants.
We're hoping to catch up with Bernadette. And here she is.
He's put together with a few different horses. Yeah. He's always walked top
like the $6
high
million
like that.
man.
And when he was a 2-year-old, we all thought, oh, he'll grow up in the weather. He'll grow up in the weather. He never has. He still looks the same.
Well, here he is coming around the home turn. It was easy work for Damien Brown to get across. Mr. Booz, though, after he'd crossed Mr. Booz, he came straight outside him. He has run out of his skin, Mr. Booz, and Steel Zip, who came back from that injury at his previous start when he came back with lacerations, has bounced back to run a nice third. But the crowd loved him. The crowd loved him. And they love him all over the country, Bernie. It doesn't matter where you go, if it's Perth or Melbourne, Sydney, and particularly here in Queensland. He is, because of his longevity,
that's right,
because he loves winning, and he's a real people's horse, they cheer him.
And he was the bridesmaid for so long. People really felt for him, in the Black Caviar days and those sorts of the hay list and those sorts of days. And, once they all went by the wayside, he was able to shine. So, and like you say, it's that longevity, because mostly now we see these cracking...
Scared to take him places. We saw him win in Perth. We've seen him win a couple of times in Perth. And here he is on the other side of the country. 6 weeks later or whatever it is, another $1 million race. Thank you, tick, move on. Dubai, tick, move on. Yeah.
Well, he's seen off Black Caviar, he's seen off Haylist. He now moves to the second on the all-time sprinters list, only Black Caviar in front of him as far as money. He went past Takeover Target to burst through the $6 million barrier. And
The Flirt, I think he's a beautiful draw. He looks in great shape. I've got to put Strawberry Boy up the list here. He's really come on since that first up run. Drier track suits him. 5 backmen in great form. And 1 Lucky Hustler. Oh, they're coming for him on track here. He's very well tried into a solid favourite. 13, 3, 5 and 1.
Glenn quickly, Good Go Lucky Hustler.
Saluta on the outside, Gracious Prospect up to 4th, and Balagari and Fontalina going forward on the outside. Lucky Hustler is about 7th, and then Laval, Spurtonic, the outsiders last of all. Strawberry Boy's got the lead from Fontalina, Saluta, Mert the Flirt 4th the inside, Gracious Prospect Prospect going to 5th. A length to Balagari, length away to Lucky Hustler. Open Book has covered ground down the side. Lavala's next, and then Spurtonic Backman. Aussies Love Sport, Bull Point, Tester Shadow. Illustrious Ladder, second last, and Arada Bay last of all. Strawberry Boys kicked away, coming down to the home turn at the 4.25. Raced about 3 lengths in front. Fontalina is struggling. Gracious Prospect on the outside. Mirth the Flirt is making ground. Saluta next, and Lucky Hustler is endeavouring to make some ground back near the inside. Strawberry Boy at the 2.50, led by a length and a half. To on the outside, Mirth the Flirt, and Lucky Hustler the inside. He's finishing strongly. Strawberry Boy, Lucky Hustler and Strawberry Boy. Lucky Hustler went through, took the lead, and Lucky Hustler, too good, draws away. Lucky Hustler, brilliant by 2 lengths. Strawberry Boy, 3 lengths away third. Balagari, not sure fourth. Laval, Gracious Prospect, Tester Shadow, Merp the Flirt, Backman, followed by Saluta, Aussies Love Sport, Harada Bay. A long way back was Open Book in company with Illustrious Lad, who bombed the start. Bull Point has beaten only 2 to the line, and they were Fontalina, and Spurtonic has pulled up short at the tail.
All right, Bossy must need the extra cash in his pocket because he didn't go up until after the line today. Lucky Hustler, Darren Weir, what a 12 months it has been. They've run 1:20.43. 1/10 outside the track record. 1/10 outside the track record. Lucky Hustler, Boss.
Hustler, isn't he? And he looks like he can just keep racing on and on.
He does. He's
an ex-Queenslander.
And we saw glimpses of him. We saw him a lot, actually, as a 2- and 3-year-old. He looked good then.
James McDonald had revved Strawberry Boy up well before the home turn to try and get them all chasing. Glenn Boss stays close to the rails, and Lucky Hustler does the rest. Watching those races on replay again this morning, there weren't, on a day like this with big fields, you'd think there'd be a stack of unlucky runners and we can point out 20 or 30 horses that should have finished closer, but it wasn't the case yesterday. There were a couple of glaring unlucky horses, but in that race there, Lucky Hustler, he was the best horse in the race, given a gun ride by Bossy on a big stage, and gets the money.
What about the control Glenn Boss showed when they went across? I thought this could be anything.
Yeah.
I said,
Start of the others, 1 Mahuta, the unknown horse, big ass, first time with a triple way outside draw, in a high pressure race here, but we know how good this trainer is, and best of the rest is 5 Iron Bellucci. A stayer resuming, look out for good things from him late. 9, 16, 1 and 5.
All right, let's find out how
on track, and this is a market that's been bet on for since the first week of December, so we're 6 weeks into this market here. I can tell you Flippin and Mahuta equal picks with tab.com.au, so numbers 1 and 9, the equal favourites here.
So $2 million up for grabs here. In the Magic Millions 3-year-old guineas, Sir Bacchus not set for the 3-year-old, racing now, and real good in most important, and Mahuta on the outside all began well. There's In His Stride and Flippin going forward on the outside, and now Dram of Red is poking forward with Flamboyant Lass. So Dram of Red, Mahuta, most important, Flamboyant Lass the first 4, Egyptian Symbol off the speed, and Sagar on his back second last. So Mahuta's got the lead here by 3/4 of a length from Flamboyant Lass. Dram of Red's a length and a half away third, and then Flippant on the outside, and also most important, followed by In His Stride, and then we've got just in behind those horses, Real Good, Atalanta Miss, Single Gaze in the centre, Egyptian Symbol on the outside, and Madonna is the next one. Homeward Bound, Mahuta the leader here, just snuck away by 3/4 from Flamboyant Lass. Flipping on the outside's been wide, Dram of Red back nearer the inside, but Mahuta has kicked away here. Mahuta by 3 lengths to Flamboyant Lass, most important, and then Flippin and Dram of Red, In His Stride, and Single Gaze down the outside. Mahuta with 100 metres left to go, still clear. A wall chasing Mahuta, Single Gaze on the outside, but Mahuta goes all the way. Where again? Mahuta has won it by a length from Single Gaze, Egyptian Symbol. Then Flippant, Madotti, most important, Dram of Red, typing In His Stride. Sagaron, Sir Bacchus, I'm Bellucci, Star of Night. A long way back, Atalanta Miss in company of Flamboyant Lass, and Real Good about.
Very good horse, Mahuta, from the outside alley. Brad Rawilla leads all the way. And is there anything that D Weir can't do?
No, not after seeing that to bring a horse here first up in a highly competitive race, do work to get across the lead and then just fight them all off, and away he goes. Yeah, he's a very promising racehorse, that. There's no doubt about it.
She's tough as teak, the runner-up single gate. Carbide Club at Flemington, Group 3 in the Sandown Guineas, Group 2. And we're just waiting for DK Weir. He's just held up at the moment. Side one in from the outside alley. Brad Ruella drove Mahuta to the lead. It led all the way. Now there's an unlucky runner in this Egyptian Symbol, which we'll show you a few times, but you can't take anything away from a horse who leads from an outside alley and leads all of the way to win a $2 million race.
At his first go away from home and this direction.
Yeah. He'd done so well in Melbourne, and this was the highlight of Darren Weir's day yesterday. He won 2 races, Lucky Hustler and Mahuta. They'd both been through a Melbourne campaign in the spring. He'd freshened them up, and he comes to the Gold Coast with 2 good chances, and he wins 2 races. He's some horse, Mahuta.
Now, last 5 wins since they put blinkers on him. So, you know, and he controlled this race from the get-go. His plans, we said just before the race, you know, we'd spoken to Peter Ellis, who's Darren Weir's racing manager, and asked him about the instructions to Brad Ruella. It was to go forward, hopefully being brought across by Flamboyant Lass, but he just began that well, and he got across very, very easily, and they were in awful trouble coming to the corner.
Let's show you the stuff.
Means comes back a year later, placed in the 3-year-old Magic Means. She's earned $700,000 in prize money, and they stood to a man, the Connections, and applauded her when she came back. For someone that's got
the Jeep Magic Millions 2-year-old classic, $2 million over 1,200, and we start Duff with the favourite. He's always nice and relaxed, no different today. Here's Capitalist for Snowdens and Blake Shin.
Oh, look, all things being equal, you'd expect him to win. The fence is held up, and in fact it may be even an advantage being on the inside today. He's got a real X factor about him. He looks the dominant horse.
Smackers to the winner. Capitalist all the rage and continues to trim in, Brass. It's now into $1.48 on the fixed, $1.60 on the tote. Does look awfully hard to beat. 2 wins, ultra impressive.
Well, he has been hugely impressive to my eyes too, Marto.
What a beautiful animal he is. And that is Capitalist, I should have said. Looking for dangers. I think the filly from the Waterhouse.
Red lights on. Stand by, racing in the Magic Millions, and Capitalist and Barrier 2 is away beautifully. The Ladies' Night Out's going forward. Just Storm and Highland Beat. Slumber Party is next. Nikitas, Musha Kisser, Party Party's a long way back is going forward. Claro Banco, and then Nicholas in the middle of the field, followed by Zafina. Candika's a long way out of its ground. Rare Occurrence on the outside. A long way back, Rainy Day Woman, followed by third last the outside, Punishing Faraway Town, and Party Party drops right away now. About 10 lengths away, last of all down the side, and Highland Beat the leader from Capitalist. Just Storm on the outside, followed by the Ladies' Night Out, Nikitas. Musha Kisser on the centre. A long way back on the outside is Slumber Party and company there. We're just in behind those horses, Zafina and Nicholas back nearer the inside. Homeward bound, Highland Beat the leader. Capitalist on the outside, about to be called upon. Nikitas in behind those horses. Musha Kisser on the outside, but Capitalist, the $1.40 favourite, has raced up and taken the lead in the Magic Millions. He's kicked away 3 lengths to Nikitas. Highland Beat running home as Musha Kisser on the outside, but it's all Capitalist well clear, and Capitalist will brain them the favourite. Bolts in the Magic Millions. Capitalist by 3 lengths to Nikitas. Third's a photo, maybe Candika, but right up there Nicholas on the outside, and then Musha Kisser, Faraway Town, Zafina, Slumber Party, Rare Occurrence, a Ladies' Night Out, Highland Beat, Rainy Day Woman, Claro Banco, Party Party, and Punishing ran lasts.
Gee, what a horse Capitalist has bolted in the 2-year-old Magic Millions, and it's going to take a very good 2-year-old beyond this to topple Capitalist in the future, Ronnie.
Arrogant ride. He had to rev him. I thought he was going to get knocked down when that false rail come up early, and Blake just had to do a little bit more on him early than what he wanted to, and then the horse got over racing and was left in front before the turn. I thought, oh, if you get beat, you're in for a kick into nothing here, but he was far too good.
He rode him like he was just the outstanding horse in that field. And Blake Shin, his confidence with this horse has just grown every time he sat on his back. Well, Peter...
Well, in a line of 4, and he was there comfortably. but I thought if I gave away that spot, there was a chance I could get pushed even 3 pairs back. So I had to hold my position. He was going well, and as soon as I got him off the rail, it was just smooth sailing from there. And it's just an amazing horse. He's a great athlete, and it's just an honour to be riding such a horse for this stable.
For this horse.
Oh, look, it was like I said before. If he tried, everything was all rosy, and he probably would have been a lot shorter. But probably a few people had their little doubts. But you know, we've worked it out, and look, we've still got the result. So it didn't really matter, did it?
It didn't matter. You got the prize, and what a wonderful performance too. To do so much work and still be there.
Yeah, it's we don't sort of talk our horses up too much, but probably all week we sort of had a tape over our mouth, just trying to keep quiet, because very extremely confident. Got a lot of trust in the horse and his ability. So I was a little bit worried when Blake sort of kept poking up where he was, because he could have come back a length and been a nice, probably even better win. But the job's done.
Metres, if you'd taken the $1.65 he was after the barrier draw, he ran $1.40, not a bad move, you just would have said, find your bookie, thank you.
Let's have a look at the replay now. Here it is, the Magic. By this stage, Shin had moved up outside the leader. Nikitas, the runner-up, is back behind them, and keep your eye on Kandika as well, because it was going to run 8th or 10th on the home turn, and it just will not die, and it keeps running on and finds a placing. But we're seeing a very special colt here in action.
Yeah, and also with Kandika, it showed you the advantage of being down towards the inside here yesterday, because as you said, it was going to run 8th or 9th. He just battles away, but he put a space on him here, and it was just a matter of, you know, what happened for the rest of them. And a magnificent training effort from Peter Snowden. He had 3 runners in the race. He filled 3 of the first 5 placings. Nicolance ran 4th and Mushakisa ran 5th. And that horse in the yellow cap there behind Mushakisa, that's Faraway Town. The girls are still celebrating because it was the first horse across the line by the all-female syndicate. So it's 300,000, is it?
300,000.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And they partied hard, I'd say, last night.
Now, watch this. Capitalist is going to find the rail in just a moment. When we get to the first turn, Capitalist has 4 horses outside him. Now, our director cuts right at the point when you think Capitalist is going to be cleaned up here now, and then by the time we go back to the lateral shot, inside of horses, there's no worries at all.
Well, and then that's Highland Beat going to the front, and then he crosses the fence, and it's travelling that well. Blake got off the fence and just went straight up outside Highland Beat again.
That's the advantage too when you're on the best horse really in the race. You know, he could push the button to make up that half length real quick and hold the fence.
And it was just about all over here, wouldn't you think? Capitalist outside Highland Beat. Blake Shin still got a good hold on him, and he just lets down like a very good 2-year-old, and it's going to take an exceptional 2-year-old, to beat this horse wherever he goes next. Nikitas, the other day, Bernie, Nikitas, same as Kandika, was going to run 10th on Boxing Day and lifted up off the canvas. This horse, the runner-up, Nikitas,
trying to mount up. He was lashing out there a little bit, but he settled down nicely. You can see Darren Weir just leading him out onto the track. Regis is still getting a little bit on toe here. The son of Street Cry at his first run back since the Caulfield Guineas. Hucklebuck looks pretty good. He's just getting a little...
well backed, but that money's dried up on Rebel Dane. Holler has been pretty solid, $4.40 to $4.60, back into $4.40, back to $4.60 now. So Holler very solid. Hucklebuck's...
ready at the 1200. They're off. And it is written one of the first to bounce out of the stalls, beginning fast, Sir Bible and Holler. And it's Sir Bible going to the lead. Holler goes with him and sits a half length, 3/4 of a length away second. Hucklebuck charging, gets up into 3rd placing, followed by It Is Written, a length and a half, Rebel Dane, Kia Van, Wonder Churchill Dancer, followed by Richie's Vibe on the fence, and then Trust in Augustin, Regis, Mourinho back second last, and Written up at the end. 700 to go, and Sir Bible leads by over a length. Holler in second spot. It Is Written Written third on the rail, followed by next Hucklebuck. Rebel Dane starting to push through between horses, making his run 3 wide, and Churchill Dancer 4 wide. Then Trust and August and Regis as they neared the turn from Richie's Vibe and Kia Van Marino towards the tail, and then Written Up. Holler's taken the lead from Sir Bible coming around the turn. Rebel Dane only a length away. Churchill Dancer starting to run on, and then Hucklebuck and Trust and Augusta starting to come home. Holler the first for the judge from Rebel Dane, just got the wobbles up a little bit. He's starting to balance up now. Then Churchill Dancer and Hucklebuck along the inside. Holler in front of Rebel Dane, Churchill Dancer, and Holler in front. He'll win. Holler scores. Holler by nearly a length. A great photo for the miners between Churchill Dancer, Rebel Dane and Hucklebuck. It is Written just behind them, followed in by Trust and August, and then Richie's Vibe, Mourinho out wider. They were followed by Sir Bible. Further back is Kia Van and Regis towards the end of the field in company with Written Up.
An outstanding return to racing by the 3-year-old Holler. Number 13 for Craig Williams and John O'Shea. $4.60 and $1.90. Very, very tight go for the miners. We've got Churchill Dancer, we've got Rebel Dane, and we've got Hucklebuck vying for the prize. The judge will come through. But I think we've got a serious race for 5th, and that was between Trust and August and It Is Written, who didn't have the best of luck. As we have a look at the sectional times here, and this will tell the tale. 110.96 is only an average, tempo for 12.com.au.
That's a Weatherly. It's $3.98 to $4.20. Here's a look at the all-in market. This is available with tab.com.au, and I can tell you, best backed for the Blue Diamond is the second favourite at this stage, Defcon 20. Yeah, look, it's $31 into $23.
By 2 lengths, he didn't jump at all well on the inside. Other than that, they seem to get away fast with Cohesion out wide, going up to Moshway and taking over the running. Caponetto showing some speed as third. Haybale fourth on the inside of Power Trip. A length further back is Bullion Wolf, and they're followed by Quiet Order, who's between runners. Over on the fence is Del Radian, a length and a half to El Venetian and Weatherly, and then Cafu and Cha-Chang can't keep up with them, 5 lengths away. Cohesion coming around the home turn, led by a half. Caponetto, Moshway the outside. In behind them is Haybale in the orange colours. They're followed then by Power Trip. On the outside is Bullion Wolf trying to work its way into the clear. Cohesion leads around the home turn by 2 lengths to Caponetto. Power Trip gets into the clear. Moshway dropped off, and the rest were headed by Bullion Wolf. Cohesion in front of Caponello, and then Power Trip, Del Radian, El Venetian coming home, but Cohesion is clear. A length and a half in front, and too speedy for them. Cohesion won it from Caponello. El Venetian got home for third, and then Power Trip fourth. Next in Weatherly, who made some good ground ahead of Del Radian and Bullion Wolf. Back behind those, the weakening Haybale, who was followed in by Quiet Order, Moshway, Cafu towards the end, and Cha-Chang a distant last.
Too smart, too fast, too professional. Simple as that. Burst from a wide gate straight to the front. Benny Mellon was able to just get him to come back underneath him and save a sprint. Entered the straight, kicked clear, and held them off a bulletproof 2-year-old. Cohesion wins for the all-conquering and powerful Godolphin operation, defeating Caponello on debut at 50-1, and El Venetian, who Claire Cunningham.
The capitalist form, didn't he, down from Sydney off a wide run today. A much softer run off the back of a nice, but he was too strong, too slick. There it is, 5:30, 2:20.
Tab, and pretty much anywhere in the country, is going to be the 3.
OK, Want to Rock. Well, that's certainly a good idea. Number 1, the Seductress, carrying the Australian flag colours again. One of the outsiders,
And La Renard a little bit slow to move down on the inside. Selenia got away quickly, so did Dazzy's Day, Divertente. Want to Rock began fast on the outside, so they go through the first couple of 100 metres, and it's Selenia using the inside to show the way. Emphatically's up there second. Want to Rock pressing on to go to the lead now. Then Divertente fourth, followed by Dazzy's Day. La Renard getting through near the inside, followed by Sort of Light. A length further back in the field is Extra Olives and the Seductress. Dream first on the inside. Well back is Savvy Bell, and they're followed then by She's Going Off, and then back on the inside is Miss Nymeria. Around the turn now, and Want to Rock on the outside with Emphatically, and Selenia against the inside now. Sort of Light is starting to run on strongly on the outside, and La Renata's made ground. It's Selenia giving a kick. Sort of Light coming at it with Emphatically in the middle. Sort of Light is going home the best in the 5 final stages. Sort of Light takes the lead. Sort of Light wins it from Emphatically. Flashing home is Dream First. A big run to get up and grab third ahead of Selenia and also La Renard, and Miss Nymeria has made ground, followed by Dazzy's Day. Extra Olives, Wanda Rock followed by Savvy Bell. Back behind them is Vuitton, and she was trailed then by Bridgie's Lass, and back towards the end is the Seductress with Divertente, and she's going off.
Well, terrific performance here by Sword of Light. Drew a nice gate, was able to stay out of trouble when others had trouble and checkered runs. A terrific performance. Sword of Light, 6:10 and 2:30. Damien Lane with the Red Hot Stable.
Back to second and third. Sword of Light, bit of a drifter. Gets the job done, 6:10, 2:30. Emphatically, 3.
12, 1 to come this afternoon at Kyneton. Feature at Group 2 grade with a big storm bearing down on Rose Hill. The Expressway Stakes over the 1200. There's our boy Malachi with that brilliant record of 17 wins in a 21-start career. It's now the second favourite. Very well backed here, Solicit Brass across all markets. 280.
Expressway and the heavily backed Solicit jump well, but our boy Malachi is burning through it. He's going to take up the lead with Tiger Tease urged to go to second. Solicit parks up third the outside, followed by Forget Big Money, and River Ladder drop back to the rear of the field. Our boy Malachi runs along in the lead boldly by a length and a half. Solicit doing the chasing. Tiger Tease resuming takes the sit in third. Two further back to Big Money railing through underneath Forget, and 2 lengths last of all is River Lad down the side of the course, and our boy Malachi first up from the break from his bleeding attack makes the running by a length and a half to the heavily back favourite Solicit. Backed in third is Tiger Tease. Big Money's off the fence now from Forget, and River Lad is the last one around the home turn. Now boy Malachi held together. Tiger Tease is being hard pushed by Bowman on the inside. Solicit's come off the bridle. Berry sits quietly on our boy Malachi. Solicit under immense pressure. So's Tiger Tease. Big Money makes ground, but our boy Malachi burst clear inside the 150. 3 lengths clear from Big Money and Tiger Tease. Big betting drift in the expressway here for our boy Malachi. Pay the believers. He gets the money and does it brilliantly. Solicit second, Big Money third, then River Lad from Tiger Tease, and Forget was the last one in. Big betting drift. He's got the money. Bolting in, our boy Malachi toying with his rivals. Solicit holding down second, Big Money third, but the Expressway is a one-horse race. Our boy Malachi demolished them.
What an achievement to get the old boy back with a tremendous record. But he's, well, look, 18 wins now from 22 starts to nursing back to health. He'd had a few, obviously had the bleeding attack, and I think he had another issue after.
Comes back aboard this fellow. Yeah, 18 wins from 22 starts. What a grand galloper. And
Tom, of course, who is a winner. He keeps winning, our boy Malachi, and there's a huge backstory to this horse getting back to the races, Ronnie.
Yeah, there certainly is, and look, the story with him was he was, I think he was $1.60 earlier in the week. He was $1.70 on race when he got to $3.50 prior to this race jumping. Everyone was terrified. What's wrong with this horse? He paraded beautifully. A fantastic achievement by Team Hawkes. He had obviously had the bleeding attack, and he had a colic attack, so that's why he'd been 8 months off the scene and not 3 months off the scene, which you get for a bleeding attack. And boy, once he jumped and got into his cruising speed, this race was all over. He's a beauty. For a horse to have such a record as his, the way he's been placed, the way he's been looked after, the way he's been handled, it's a great story. And look, it's not going to get easier for him, as you know, when you get towards races like the TJ Smith, he'll have a stablemate like Chautauqua to contend with and whatever. But you can never deny a horse like him who's got such a great will to win.
Oh, his record's sensational. 18 from 22, plus a second, plus a third. I mean, the record is sensational, but things went his way yesterday.
True.
He jumped out and he got a very easy lead. I mean, he had the ears pricked and he was just hard on the steel out in front. No one took him on. They left him in clear air. So they really didn't come off the bit. I mean, the last horse was still on the bit at the 500-metre mark in a sprint home. They've only come off the bit the last 400 metres. You can't give our boy Malachi a start over 400 metres and beat him. I don't care who you are. Chautauqua couldn't do it.
But he's the type of horse you can't go up and eyeball. He'll grind you into the ground as well. So he's got that racing pattern in his favour, where he's got just that high cruising speed, enough to be left alone, or you're going to do yourself harm. And that's where he's, like I said, that's his asset. That's why he wins so many races.
Why the drift?
Race for the 2-year-olds, many on the Blue Diamond trail, including Extreme Choice, looking to make it 2 from 2. It is the current favourite for the Blue Diamond at $5, and it's short to make it 2 from 2 today. It's at $1.40.
Gratwick, $26 to $31. There's been a drift for Simply Invincible, the expensive yearling purchase, 14 out to $18. Mandy.
Extreme Choice began fast over towards the outside. Mandy got out of stride very quickly as well, and she's going up and looking for the lead early. So it's Mandy from Extreme Choice settling into stride, and up there too is Gratwick between them. Third, 2 lengths to Highland Beat. They're followed then on the inside by Simply Invincible, and going towards the end, Om Nom and Damn Ready on the outside. Up before the turn, Extreme Choice has taken over, leads now by 2 lengths to Mandy, 2 lengths to Gratwick. A length away on the inside, Simply Invincible from Highland Beat. Om Nom towards the end, and Damn Ready is last around the turn inside the 400 metres now, and Extreme Choice is railing very well and gets about 2 to 3 lengths. Mandy's gone, and Gratwick is starting to finish it off down the outside, and so is Highland Beat. Inside the 2 now, Oliver had a peep over the shoulder. It's Extreme Choice by about 3 lengths now to Highland Beat, Gratwick, and then came Damn Ready, but it is all Extreme Choice, too fast. Extreme Choice by 4, hard held to Highland Beat, 3/4 away Gratwick, and then came Damn Ready, Om Nom, a break then Simply Invincible, and Mandy is last home.
Yeah. He's the ruling Blue Diamond favourite, and I think we can say goodbye to the $5.50 that's on offer at the moment in the Blue Diamond Extreme Choice. That was dominant. He may not have beaten a great deal, but the way he did it was arrogant. Damien Oliver, he was sitting 3 wide. He sooled him to the lead. He said, let's go before the turn, and he's one eased up.
Yeah, no, the win at first look, mate, was excellent. He worked
connections. I mean, great story and great scenes here. A fair amount of excitement about this bloke.
Look, we do a lot of work at the yearling sales. We buy a lot of horses, and you know, plenty of them are duds and some of them are good. So he's just one of the ones that are good. And
barriers, but he pings the gates, lands. Ollie had to work a little bit that first 200. The sectional times will say that he's brilliant at both ends. But what I loved is he was able to relax for 100 metres. We'll talk about it in detail more, and with Damien Oliver. I love the 30 minutes between breaks.
Look for those horses that get back and get into interference and then run on stylish and go, oh, that could be the one to follow. Whereas there's a lot to love about a professional fast horse goes straight to the front and then sprints.
Yeah, it takes a lot of luck out of the equation, and he did that yesterday. I was looking to maybe take a sit on him, but that wasn't going to work out for us, so I was able to just use him a little bit, go to the front, and he then relaxed for me again.
Fast horses, what's your gut feel there?
Yeah, it can. It's totally a different race going out to 1,200 metres for the Diamond, bigger field, more pressure. But this horse appears to me like he's got adaptability. He can relax, and I think he will be able to take a sit. He's just push button, you know, he can add that.
Invincible. Quality of the opposition might be questionable, but what isn't is the time runs 57.09, sprints home 33.49, wins with his head on the chest. Extreme Choice at $1.40. Highland Beat and Gratwick into the minor money. You could imagine that they'll find it awfully tough to be able to beat him in the future. He was a sectional star throughout, and Matty, he was simply too quick.
He was too quick, and just something that Damien and I said off air.
Oliver has got a very strong hand, whichever way he goes. Considering Extreme Choice at $3, Flying Artie at $10 as well, and Sweet Cherry not in the market there, which is interesting. Zamzam, who we thought was impressive at $17. There's Sweet Cherry at $26. So I feel the punters will be going, if you're even considering her, and she's in the second.
Straightens up here, and he thinks, I've got a lap full of horse here. Must be something coming. You watch Ollie have a little look around here more than once or twice in the there's one, and he's just got 3 or 4 in front. Look, there's no excuses for anything behind him. The run of the English, he broke 57 at Randwick, which is great for 2-year-olds at that time of the year. He's run 57 and a tick here, and I know Time's only interested in him for 2-year-olds and short distance and that. He ran 33.5 the last bit. Now, the other 1,000-metre race was won by Shakespearean Lass, and she ran 56.91, so only a fraction quicker than him. You know, he's a very fast 2-year-old. That does he go 1,200 metres? Probably.
Yeah, he won me there. Jury was out on him, I thought, in the Sydney run, because I thought didn't know about the depth of that race. But when your 2-year-olds run comparable time to your older horses, you know you're going okay. And that was a listed race, the other 1,000-metre race. So it's a good guide. So he's...
The barrier stall, some very good 3-year-olds lining up in the Eskimo Prince Stakes at Group 3 grade, and it's a field of 11. 7 of them are resuming. Counterattack's the favourite. 360 to 425, and very well backed is Spill the Beans, number 9. 8 out to 9 into 550. Zoo Tenant, you're on topper.
Right out, Le Remain jumped okay. Spill the Beans, Wale quickly into stride. Wolf Cry handy. Zoo Tenant's bursting along the rails, followed then by just on the back of the speed, Tarquin in the blue cap, then Counterattack. Wolf Cry drifting back a bit from Canniessen, Torkerson, and Shards in the white-coloured cap is back last. It's Spill the Beans on the outside of Wale. The pair goes stride for stride from Zoo Tenant. Pride of Dubai caught 3 wide on the outside of Tarquin. Further back to Le Remain, Wolf Cry, Counterattack, and a line of 3 back at the rear. Torgerson, Canniessen and Shards the last one. Racing to the turn, Wale just in front from Spill the Beans and Zoo Tenant hugging the rails. Pride of Dubai tracking up behind together with Tarquin, then Wolf Cry. Counterattack will have to go back to the rails and Le Remain moving up. It's Spill the Beans joining Wale in the lead, and Spill the Beans hits the lead by a length on Wale. Pride of Dubai gets going on the outside, then Canniessen running on. Further back to Counterattack on the rails. It's Spill the Beans, 3/4 to Pride of Dubai. Spill the Beans going, great guns from Pride of Dubai. Counterattack going to third, but Spill the Beans up on the speed's too good. And some good bets have been landed there. Spill the Beans takes it out from in second place Le Remain, and Counterattack in third, followed then by Shards from Wale, Torgerson, Wolf Cry, Canniessen, Pride of Dubai dropping off the end from Zoo Tenant, and last to finish was Shards.
Spill the Beans gets the money. Gerald Ryan for the ownership of Arrowfield. John Massara and the crew up there. Spill the Beans. Timmy Clark has raced right away from...
This bloke too, because the last 50 yards are a little bit worried, and halfway through the race are a little bit worried because he's holding him back to the good horses. But he knuckles down. He keeps taking the next step. He keeps performing, so you can't...
Yeah, look, like I said, he was very confidently back, this 3-year-old. He'd trialled nicely leading into the race, and didn't he show a great turn of speed here when he let go on him, and away he goes. He's, yeah, look, interested to see him back on a drier track next time, whether he can still assert some superiority. Le Remain, well, he'd already had a run under his belt, but he jumped to the next level there. Counterattack just couldn't get into the right part of the track that he wanted to, but he still ran well. Geez, I like the run of Shards there. He's a lovely big horse.
Looked well in the yard, Shards.
Guineas. He's extravagant. We showed the first time we showed him on this show was when he won the 2,000 guineas at Riccarton. Now the track was, I think, downgraded from a good 3 to a dead 4. This is a Group 1 at Tarapa yesterday, and they decided, Richard, to stay. There's a strip hard up against the fence. That's where we're going. You can please yourself.
Well, that's weird. You know, I can't work this out. They sort of gave him that much head start. Look, he's good enough to have done the job there. He jumped out and led early, and then just took the sit behind a couple of others that wanted to go hard. And then on the corner, they all started heading out the middle of the track. He went round the fence and just left them behind. Look, he's very smart, and they're very excited about him over there. He'll come over here and acquit himself well. These New Zealand horses with this sort of class just seem to be right there now. So
I reckon they mowed that strip for him. You know what they're like over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Ben, for the contest.
All right, give us a market update, Ben.
Samara Dancer, easily the best backed runner in this race. $12, as we mentioned during the week, into $4.60 now, $4.20, and the best backed by a mile. Also, Concealer's been solid, $6.50 at the moment, and the money has continued for those two at bigger prices. The 8...
They're off. Samara Dancer jumped okay. Concealer looked to be a couple of lengths slow. Sort of light away very quickly over on the outside, having a go for the lead early. Going away fast in the early stages. Selenia gets up along the inside of her, and Dream First right on the speed is using the rail to go to the front now. Quick Feet right behind them, railing up into fourth, being followed then by Time for Roses, and just ahead of her is Emphatically. They're followed by Calliope in the Godolphin Blue, and then Kinetic Design. Samara Dancer, Touch Worse in midfield, followed by Sweet Cherry, Miss Nymeria, Zam Zam and Concealer coming around the home turn, and Dream First narrowly from Selenia the outside, and Sort of Light 3 wide. Quick Feet waits on the run behind them, and that emphatically. Time for Roses. Calliope trying to work into the clear as they enter the straight and down towards the 200. Samara Dancer's pulled to the outside, and she's letting rip. She's really letting rip, and she's hit the front now from Selenia. Here comes Concealer down the outside. Samara Dancer with 100 to go, leads by a couple, and she's going strongly, and Samara Dancer beats Concealer by a length. Miss Nymeria got third ahead of the stablemate Selenia, then Calliope. Sweet Cherry made some ground, followed by Zam Zam emphatically and Quick Feet. Next in Kinetic Design, followed then by behind those to finish is Sort of Light. Well back as Time for Rose.
We've got a new player in the Blue Diamond now, Samara Dancer, one of the best back runners, in fact the best back runner of the day, as much as $15, $16 on offer earlier in the week, and it's been smashed into $4.20 starting price. That man Philip Stokes does it again when he brings horses over from South Australia here, especially to Caulfield. They invariably run well, and when there's money they usually win, and she was super.
So going into the Blue Diamond, that in 2 weeks' time, I mean, will she take improvement off of this performance?
Probably not, but the 1200 will suit.
Sweet Cherry made some ground, followed by
First and second were absolutely terrific there. They ran 1:03.11. Samara Dancer was backed into favouritism. Can Philip Stokes produce a horse? And the Mauritian Magician smashing the clock, the sectional star from the 800 all the way through to the last 200 metres. A lot of good runs in the race. Calliope, well, it was the fallout of the race. One of the other favourites, disappointing running fifth there, but Matty, love the top two in particular.
Yeah, even Grizzly Adams, as he's now known, David Hayes with his summer beard, summer look yesterday, that was...
Sir Richard Kimball.
That was quite jolting to look at, actually, that beard. George Clooney. Even he was happy with Zam Zam, back in the field. My gut feeling, I don't think there's a diamond winner amongst those, not even the first two. I just don't think there's a star factor there. I think she's a nice filly, the winner, and I think the runner-up was Richard.
I agree. I think, no disrespect to the winner, Concealer's the one that I want to follow out of that race.
It'd want to be a run-on horse's diamond for those two to... I mean, it wouldn't want to be a brilliant horse's diamond. This is going to come down to what?
This is the Phillies division, and I thought it was a pretty good effort here. They ran about the same time in both efforts here. Samara Dancer came off the back of that win at Morphettville there. It was a dominant win over there, and she was very well backed here to take it out. Just sat behind them there, accelerated well. Definitely a live chance, I reckon, going into the Blue Diamond here. Phillies look as good as the Colts. Concealer, well, came from last. They ran 30.
The 2-year-old Colts and Geldings, the Blue Diamond Prelude. Just getting a bit of news coming through from the stewards regarding the winner of the for the Colts and Geldings. Ben, what's happening here?
Finardi certainly not the best to bounce on the outside, and away very quickly out there was El Venetian, and getting away very fast. Cohesion drives to the lead as they settle down, so it's Cohesion going a couple of lengths clear as they settle down from Capanello, and Star Turner jumped away well. He's right there on the speed. He goes to second now, just behind those horses. Zenna's Ocean Grove outside, Lionhearted, China Dream, and then came Flying Artie, 3 deep around the outside. He's actually outside Ocean Dream, so up about fourth is before the turn Bullion Wolf. Back behind these horses is Power Trip on the rail, and 2 lengths Revolving Door, followed by El Venetian, and then Lost Cabos, and badly beaten for speed as Black Energy. Cohesion led around the home turn, running into second on the outside as Star Turn. They're followed by Capanello, Bullion Wolf, China Dream, and Flying Artie is starting to warm to the task. Inside the 200, Cohesion headed now by Star Turn. Here's Flying Artie starting to come. Star Turn in front, Flying Artie the danger. Star Turn tackled by Flying Artie. He goes home the best and wins it by a head. Star Turn second, 3 China Dream. Then either Revolving Door, Bullion Wolf, or Power Trip ahead of Lionhearted for the next line over. Just behind them was Lost Cabos. Cohesion dropped out, and so did Capanello Ocean Grove. They're trailed then by Energy, and Ambitious X scratched at the gates.
Well, Damien Oliver has got one tough decision to make. Does he ride Flying Artie in the Blue Diamond, or does he stick with last week's impressive 2-year-old winner, Extreme Choice? Because Flying Artie, while the margin was nowhere the same, it was almost just as impressive.
Door, Bullion Wolf, or Power.
He does so many things wrong. They run 1:03.04, so marginally quicker than the fillies. He draws a wide gate. Raced without cover on occasion, sweated up beforehand, still had the audacity to come over the top of Star Turn, who had every possible chance. China Dream, start number 2 in his career for Mick Price, is a pretty good third stringer. But Matty, Flying Artie, that was a star performance.
Yeah, absolutely. How long can Ollie wait? I mean, on the week of the race, barrier draw will be on.
Gets fired up again off the bend. Watch him. He just gets his head up here and just makes the bend a little bit awkward. He has to go deep and commit. So he did a lot wrong yesterday. There's a lot of upside for this horse if he can draw a marble in a Blue Diamond. Once he appreciates the galloping room, he's a natural. Watch him there. Now, Dwayne Dunn could not sit any longer on Star Turn. Gave him a beautiful ride. Maybe could sit 1 or 2 pairs back off a hot speed over 6 furlongs will help him. But I think the winner's got a lot more upside than these colts that finish behind him. He's definitely going to appreciate the day out because he sweated up. There's a lot of nervous energy about him yesterday. A lot of upside about him. But I think he needs to... Mick Price said there's not much between these two, and he felt that Flying Artie, this is the trainer, he felt that Flying Artie was a better horse over 6 furlongs going into the Diamond based on their track work together.
Well, there they are. They're the top 2 in the market. Concealer sitting there third with Samara Dancer. How quickly it all turned. Talking of turning, Star Turn is the first of those that are double figures. Calliope, I can imagine, won't take any place, and Kahee.
But he's Flying Artie.
Well, Flying Artie sort of jumped awkwardly and got back. He sat wide, but there's no turns. It's just straight down the Queen's Row side and round the corner. So that's kind of like Blue Diamond pattern. A lot of horses win Blue Diamonds racing that way. So I think it was a very, very good effort. His last splits must have been very, very good here. Smart colt, no doubt about that. Revolving Door ran on well. Star Turn was brave. His first run the Melbourne Way, and he probably improves a little bit on that. But as you say, D. Oliver, which way will he go? The Extreme Choice, which is the extreme speed machine, or do you ride Flying Artie, who looks like at the end of the race he's going to be very, very strong? I don't know. I think for Damien's riding style, Flying Artie it suits his style better, but that doesn't mean he'll pick that horse. But I'd say Flying Artie, Revolving Door were probably the 2 Blue Diamonds. Some chance for Star Turn if it improves.
No, yeah, Star Turn if it improves, but the winner stands alone there. He dragged him back trying to settle him at the start, trying to get behind a stablemate, which he wanted to over-race. That horse, if he draws a barrier, don't worry, he's not a back marker. He could just box seat 3rd or 4th. He's got speed, that horse. I think the key with the decision was
.com.au, and this is the way that it's looking. It's been an interesting betting race throughout, and now it's found itself with Heatherly back towards favouritism. Politeness eases to $4.60. There was a $30,000 bet just moments ago on Heatherly, which has helped. Eclair Choice.
Getting through near the inside into second placing, Just a Bullet, and they're followed Eclair Choice, it is written. A length further back in the field is Hassan Eagle. They're followed by Politeness between runners. Kuro's on her inside. A length and a half Lake Geneva, Tried and Tied, and back last of all is the Monstar as they put the 600 astern. Heatherly the leader, just over a length in front from Just a Bullet doing the chasing work, and then a Clear Choice, it is written, in Kuro, followed by Hassan Eagle, and then Politeness about 8 from the leader as they swing into the straight, and it's Heatherly flying along. She cornered about 3 lengths in front from Just a Bullet, a Clear Choice, then Lake Geneva, who's made significant ground on the inside, and Politeness is too far back, but Heatherly might be too far in front. She's 4 lengths. A Clear Choice boxing on well, so is Just a Bullet and Lake Geneva. Politeness gets going, but Heatherly romped it in. And Heatherly won it by about 6 lengths, Politeness, who flew home to get the second placing. Just a Bullet will hold third in a photo there with Kuro and Lake Geneva. Then came getting through behind them was the Monstar, who got a long way back. Tried and Tied next to Clear Choice Weekend, followed by It Is Written, and last to finish is Hassan Eagle.
Well, that was impressive. Heatherly has really stepped up this time in. Her last 3 wins have been outstanding. She was in a different race today while Politeness was searching for a run on the home turn. Dwayne Dunn trying to get her out. Katie Mallion on Heatherly was off and gone. She rated it beautifully. The horse who used to over-race, Reef and Tear, they've taught to settle, and she now has to become a live chance in a race like the Oakley Plate. That was an impressive display of speed. Heatherly spread eagling them in the Rubicon. $5 it got out to $4.
Yeah, well, that's the bottom line. She's run the 1100 metres simply too fast. last for her rivals with 51 kilos, and I guess that was the great query going into the race. The others with, you know, more class, more runs on the board, if you like, they'll have to give her a start. She's match fit, she's up and flying, and she's winning well in fast times and high rating races, and today dropping to the 51. She led. A few of the others with good speed were happy to take a sit. Didn't bother Katie. She was happy just to lead them up at her own sort of tempo, give a really nice kick, and
just took a while to, you know, get and pace herself too. You know, she's an aggressive thing. She's such a good-natured thing at home, and she gets the race. She gets a bit of white line fever, and she ran herself into the ground here a year ago in the prelude. And
just a little hold third in a photo.
She's run 102.21. She's won by 6 lengths over a Group 1 winner in Politeness. Sure, that's a Group 1 over 1,600 metres, but a terrific sprinter in her own right when she's fresh. Maddie, you're onto something here. She's going to take a power beating the Oakley Plate.
That was an Oakley Plate winning run, wasn't it? The ears pricked coming around the home turns. 3 in front, gone hard, yet still ears pricked and extending further, and no weight in an Oakley Plate. And as you say, beating a Group 1 winner in Politeness. So she's there. And you know, this is a masterstroke of Ellen Zaro. Remember, she came out first up at Sandown, fat, uneducated, well-backed. The measure of and well-backed. The measure of improvement start to start has been quite extraordinary, hasn't it? And if she takes any more improvement coming into an Oakley Plate. And Caitlin Mellion's a story.
Yeah, that's right.
Her first Group 1 staring her in the face now.
First group race as a senior.
This was just a one-act affair. Heatherly just jumped to the lead, pricked her ears. She's the 3-year-old in the race. There was another one in it, but she's carrying the lightweight here because of the conditions of the race. And she just went to the front. They never saw which way she went. And ran time too. 1:2.2 is very quick. 33 and a tick on the way home. Look, it's her 8th run for a 4th win. She's had I think 2 seconds and a third, and she's run a 5th. I mean, she's been never far away. And with 51 kilos here, you just can't make excuses for the rest of them. Politeness there in the white cap with the white blinkers towards the outside there, ran exactly as you would have expected her to run in this sort of race. Got back, finished off well, but was beaten a long way. Look, there aren't many other runs there. Kiro finished off all right, but he's hard to place. The winner is just a speed machine.
She's always had trouble harnessing that speed, and she's a little bit. She's a late autumn 3-year-old filly now, and she's beat the older horses. I don't know.
Tab.com.au. I will make the market mover, though, Harlem River, because it's the only genuine firmer from its price this morning to its price now, and a firmer on track as well, 9 into 6.50. This is the running of the light fingers here. Greg, stay with me to run favour
for the fillies. And they're off and racing. Stay With Me's jumped fairly on the outside. In fact, McAvoy's going to take the favourite back to last. And Harlem River jumped best from Tempt Me Not, and Kangarilla Joy settles in third. A half the inside to Pearls, then Pericino Perrin on the outside. And 2 lengths last of all is the favourite Stay With Me, is very keen back at the rear. Harlem River steadies the speed by a length to Tempt Me Not. Then Pearls on the inside of Kangarilla Joy. 2 further back to Perrin on. The Ruffy Pericino, and 2 lengths away to Stay With Me. Racing to the turn, Harlem River at the 600 metres. A length in front of Tempt Me Not. Kangarilla Joy travels strongly in third. On the outside of Pearls, then Perrinon from Pericino. And Stay With Me is still back last, 5 lengths off Harlem River as they turn. It's Tempt Me Not in second behind Harlem River. Kangarilla Joy's been cuddled here by Bowman. Now he pops the question. Stay With Me, 5 lengths off them. Harlem River is trying to fend off. Tempt Me Not is getting closer with every stride. Kangarilla Joy under pressure. Perrinon's running on. Tempt Me Not hits the lead. Perrinon's flashing home on the outside. Kangarilla Joy's picking up now. Perrinon dives and got up. Perrinon wins the light fingers from Kangarilla Joy, who was brave. Tempt Me Not third in front of Harlem River. Stay With Me gave them a big start from Pearls, and Pericino ran according to her price.
Big finish there from Perignon, right over the top of them. A well-timed run from Timmy Clark, who's a jockey in form at the moment. Gerald Ryan, the winning trainer.
Been placed in Group 1s and Group 2s, so she'd been around the mark throughout her career, but Gerald's had a couple resume, these autumn 3-year-olds, in the last couple of weeks, and he's got the job done, and this filly was very strong, and they slowed up and she got back as well, and so there's a lot of merit in the performance. Kangarilla Joy, she'd had a good grounding coming into this race. Just whether she finished off the end of 1200's a little query, along with Tempt Me Not. The favourite here, I thought Stay With Me was just ridden too negatively. Look, I'm not saying that she would have won because she was following Perignon there, but they were just far too negative.
I agree with that.
She wasn't ridden to win.
It was a bit of a negative ride. I agree with that. Tactics were negative. I had to have a little giggle. I might be seeing...
To start off with a bang here today.
All right, let's go through them and have a look at these runners in our feature race of the day, the Group 2 Apollo. And here she is, number 8, the star of the show, Winx. Odds on favourite, $1.50, Chris Waller, Hugh Bowman. Take us away, Ronnie. What do you think of her?
Well, what can you say? It speaks for itself. Just look at her there. She's just swishing the tail, nice and loose and relaxed, and no issues with her whatsoever.
All right, you're going with Winx, Ronnie, but what about the minor end of the prize? Who have you put in for second, third, fourth?
Oh, look, I'm very confident Lee Baz is going to figure in the placings here. I think.
Set for a start. And they're racing down the Apollo Stakes. Solicit got the best of the start from Bohemian Lily. Lee Baz has jumped OK from Centre Pivot. And Bowman's got Winx up running 5th in the early part. Dibiani's improving from the outside. Then Haraki and Magic Hurricane. Good margin back in the field to Grand Marshal from Who Shot the Barman. And Gusta Wind settles down last. McAvoy ensures the pace is genuine. Solicit dashes clear by 2.5 lengths to Lee Baz in second. Bohemian Lily third, then Dibiani. And Winx holds a position 5th on the rails. A length behind is Centre Pivot. Then Haraki from the Metropolitan winner Magic Hurricane. 2 further back to Who Shot the Barman. Grand Marshal and Gusta Wind are the last 2. The speed's genuine at the 600 metres. And Solicit has been well back to win the race. A length clear from Lee Baz. Dibiani continues to push closer on the outside. Then Bohemian Lily from Winx being quietly ridden 5th around the turn. Haraki tracks the great mare everywhere she goes. Then Centre Pivot and further back to Magic Hurricane. Solicit straightens in front. Winx will go back to the inside. Lee Baz, Dibiani under the whip. Solicit in front. Now Winx is being called upon by Bowman. And here comes Winx going after Solicit. Solicit ahead in front. But Winx is going through her gears. And look at her go. Winx. Oh, she's simply the best. Great return to racing. Won it comfortably by a length on the line to Solicit. Haraki in a photo for third with Dibiani. Then Lee Baz, Bohemian Lily, Who Shot the Barman, Magic Hurricane, Centre Pivot. Gusta Wind, Grand Marshal couldn't pick up from back in the field. She's run 1:22.03.
Randwick, they were cheering, they were willing her home, they were on the back of Huey Bowman trying to push her over the line. Solicit gave a great fight, but she couldn't hold out this wonderful, wonderful mare, and she's back and she keeps this long-running winning streak intact.
Well, that's 6.
Winx, terrific, Simon Marshall, or a pass mark and solid?
I think she was prepared to win that race first up against maybe C-grade Group 1 horses, if you like. Nothing against Solicit. She's a high-class mare, and she ran super there yesterday. There was a decent break to the third horse, but she did what she needed to do to win first up there yesterday. If Chris Waller had prepared her to win an All Stakes, she would have run completely different to what she did there yesterday with a nice soft win. Huey didn't really hurt her. It was the last 50 that he just asked her to pick up, break away from the field. She's on track. She's going super.
Well, let's have a listen to
Mackay.
We mentioned that
she's halfway there now.
She's the pin-up girl of racing at the moment, but she's not an out-and-out champion. She's got to come back and continue to do it season in, season out, both in Melbourne and Sydney, one would feel.
What's going to be?
She loomed alongside Solicit. They were really urging her along, even though a lot of people out there probably didn't take the short odds. They wanted her to win.
Yeah, look, she's like the people love her. They love a horse that's got a bit of an X factor about her, and Bowman always had her in that winning position, which was the ideal spot. He kicked up inside Centre Pivot early, held his position, so he was always going to be in contact. And there's just about from here on in, she just, the class come through and she asserted her superiority, and Bowman just a little soft on a late there. I thought Solicit was ridden to win. She just wanted to take the sting out of Winx first up. I thought it was a really, really good ride on Solicit because she'd had the run coming into that race. Look, there was a couple of good runs in this race. I think Haraki has come up very, very well. He took a while to come to hand in the spring where his coat wasn't there, but he looked a picture there yesterday.
John O'Shea said he was gelded and he didn't winter well leading into that prep, but now he's fine.
I thought it was great. I thought she came back as exactly the way you'd want her to come back. She looked very, very fit before it too. I was watching her in the mounting yard on your coverage. You said she looked fit. I saw her at the Gallop the week before. She looked fit then too. So I think there's There's definitely improvement in her as the races get longer, but fitness-wise, I think she's pretty well there. I don't know that she'd have won the All. There you go. I don't know that she'd have won the All Stakes.
Why, because she's not good enough?
No, not because she's not good enough, only because there were, you know, she's probably not at her best at this distance first up and might have needed to be a little bit better to win the All.
Why?
Just because there'd be more pressure in that race.
Like a mare won the All, was first up in 12 months. What
I
are you
know,
talking
but
about?
she's a first-up specialist.
Please.
And a very good mare, you know, as well. Group 1 winner, won the Futurity first up last start. So we'll get on to that.
She would have won the All.
I don't know that she would have won the All. I think she'd have been very competitive in it. I think it's a very good effort, but I don't think she's... Look, I think the public...
You think we're getting carried away with Winks?
No, I think you're
You do.
You're entitled to get carried away with it. But I think people are thinking that she's Black Caviar, but Black Caviar at a top was unbeatable.
No one thinks she's Black Caviar.
Well,
name one person who said she's Black Caviar.
You.
Me.
You want to make things up.
I think people want her to be another one. But
They do. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. But the wish for her to be our next champion, Can you turn your phone off?
I think she's the best horse in the country and will prove to be the best horse of the autumn. No doubt about that in my mind. I'm just putting it in perspective, I think she's not unbeatable.
No, look, I see where you're lining her up there. That's just silly.
Speaking to Alan Thomas yesterday after the races, and because he called that massive win in the Sunshine Coast Guineas, and he said he'd never seen a horse improve so much from that point onwards. That was a defining moment, that day when she came from last at the Sunshine Coast in the Guineas.
We all thought that.
With Mahuta or Holler?
Yeah, they're pretty split at the moment, $2.80 a piece, which has been the story through most of betting. Mahuta has attracted some big bets, but the weight of money is with Holler. So an interesting betting race, this one. We have $2.80 for those two. Snoopy's been well back, though.
Able to progress from winning the Autumn Stakes through to taking out the Guineas. And if you use this race as a lead-in to the Australian Guineas, not from a winning perspective, but just running here, the most recent winner to take out the Australian Guineas coming through this race was Heart of Dreams for Mick Price back into...
From a sidle angle, they're away anyhow, and the starters caught them pretty well with Sailing By being headed by Snoopy, is away brilliantly, and Holler got up there fast, and Mahuta's using the rail as they settle into stride, and Mahuta drives up along the fence and he holds out Holler and he leads by about a length now. Snoopy is third, first of all about 10 from the leader, so Mahuta up the side at the 800 by a length to Holler, 2 lengths away Snoopy with the drop on the leaders, and they're 2.5 clear from Sailing By on the inside of Regis, being followed a further 2 lengths to Hardern. Then came Devil Hawk, being followed by Celtic Tiger, and then Extra Choice and Tarzino. So Mahuta comes down towards the turn. He's 3/4 of a length clear. Holland niggled at to go with him, and they're 3 lengths on Snoopy, 2 lengths Regis and Sailing By. Coming around the turn, 400 left to go, and Mahuta is travelling as well as anything. He leads by 2 lengths. He got away on Holler. He straightened 3 lengths in front. Then came Snoopy and Sailing By battling on at the 200 metres, and Mahuta's about 2 lengths in front. He's staying a little bit tired now. Sailing By is getting up on the inside. Mahuta in front of Sailing By and Snoopy. It's Mahuta in front. Sailing By lunges hard and made it close, but I think Mahuta perhaps from Sailing By. Snoopy will be third, and they're followed behind those then by Tarzino getting home beautifully, and then came Hardern. It was too much for Holler. He cracked at the bend, and then came Devil Hawk, and they're followed by Extra Choice, Celtic Tiger and Regis.
He's hung on the favourite, Mahuta, $2.70, or second favourite, I think, as they jumped. One more bound, and Sailing By was going to get the cash. Brad Rawiller didn't want it another 20 metres longer. God, he's a tough bugger. He's a winner. That's his 6th win in a row. Sailing By, a great run, second, $2.30.
Great horse and a great trainer, so well done, everyone. Onwards now to the Australian...
What a different horse since they put the blinkers on him. He's unbeaten, and what he does, he just puts the others in the hurt locker, and he cracked Holler. Holler would have slept amazingly last night. He was exhausted by the end. He went and eyeballed Mahuta, and Mahuta's just too tough. 320. The filly Flash Late running second, Sailing By. Snoopy's solid, sitting third in the run. That's his lot in life. He did a nice job, and the eye catcher was the Derby winner, who hit the line stylishly, but you would simply love Maddie to own Mahuda.
Yeah, you would. You know, the first amazing
house wheel. Hey, this guy is what you call a true racehorse, because I think he's bet the
Palantino, who was so good last week.
This is going to be one of the great guineas, because we across the ditch yesterday saw something.
This is what you did for the iconic Melbourne Cup. You spoke it up and they ran to it.
Hard at the scenes. Brad's going to tell us about as well. And then Tarzino. You know, the greatest story of Mick Price's career going back will be if he can take Tarzino to wherever he wants to go with him in the next 12 months and be a cup horse. The 2-year-olds are all fine.
Towards the guineas. He's going to be a tough chance.
I thought, oh, got beaten on wet.
Today, $4 into $3.90 as we have a look at the market with crownbet.com.au. So Turn Me Loose, $4 there, but that'll tick into $3.90. Lucky Hustler, $4.40 in from $4.60, and it's really a race in two, according to the punters. Boban currently at $9, but has been $9 to $9.50.
Thanks for that, Ben. Can't wait for this race. The Group 1 CF4 Stakes. So many stars of the turf have won this race over the years. In Melbourne Cup, the horses now as they parade. And one of my favourite horses of the turf is Faulkner, winner of
belt. And he just looked like big, strong, fit, looks in winning order, just needs luck from the get.
They're set. Away they go. Suavito jumped fast. Bow Creek a bit slow to move, and he's towards the end early. Rebel Dane got away well, so did Massini Mourinho, and Entirely Platinum, and Turn Me Loose is on the outside of this bunch of horses as they settle down, and Trust and Augusta's on the move through as well. Massini leads. Turn Me Loose goes up and heads him now. Mourinho's third. Entirely Platinum in the oranges deep out fourth. A length and a half. Trust and Augusta, Rebel Dane and Suavito the rail. They're followed one further back in the field of Stratum Star. Fenway on the inside, near the inside with the Bow Creek along the rail, and they're followed then by, next in the field is Red Bomber over on the outside, and then Boban, Lucky Hustler, Happy Trails. Further back in the field then down the side was Hucklebuck. A length and a half away as Faulkner, Rising Romance and Awesome Rock at the end. 600 to go now. Turn Me Loose left alone by a length and a half to Entirely Platinum. Mourinho and Massini's fourth. They're followed by Rebel Dane, Trust and August. Down on the inside is Suavito needing a run from Fenway, and then came Stratum Star, Red Bomber, Hucklebuck and Bow Creek with Lucky Hustler behind them in traffic. Turn Me Loose around the turn, more than a length on Mourinho. Entirely Platinum. Suavito is getting through. Lucky Hustler still in traffic, and so is Bow Creek on the rail. Turn Me Loose, 150 to go. He's a length and a half. Suavito gets out and runs on, and here's Hucklebuck coming now. Suavito got to the lead. Suavito in front of Rebel Dane. Turn Me Loose. Suavito wins it. Lucky Hustler flew. He was unlucky. Close for third between Hucklebuck, Rebel Dane and Turn Me Loose on the rail. Boban, best work laid out wide on the course from Fenway. Awesome Rocks run a cracker. Then came Bow Creek. Behind them is Trust and August, Mourinho weak, and further back is Happy Trails, Entirely Platinum, Stratum Star, Massini. Well back is Rising Romance and Red Bomber, and Faulkner's one of the last to go over the line.
She is a star mare. Suavito, the first time we've seen her in almost 12 months since she went amiss. She had an operation to remove bone chips after last year's Autumn Carnival in Sydney. First up, she had a beautiful run.
She was outstanding today.
I was, Shane, and then when we drew barrier one, I was really confident that she'd get a nice run early. If the gaps open, I knew she'd take them, and a needle gap open the top of the straight. She's just so tough and strong, this mare. And the two trials have been excellent, and so she's in for a good campaign, hopefully.
She's always been pretty good first up. I mean, was she a little bit more wound up for this race than perhaps previously?
Not possibly wound up, but possibly more adrenaline buzz today, because in the mountain yard, she's got quite a much on the toes. She knew what she's here for. I mean, I haven't really wound her up because, you know, hopefully we've got a long campaign ahead, heading towards sort of Sydney. She had 10 months off, so we sort of taken along quietly, just slowly build her up, and I can see in the development she's just got so much stronger.
Take us through, you know, her time off.
Finished unplaced on a wet track in the Doncaster. She heads to the Futurity now, a race she won here, Gator, over 1,400 metres last year. And look, she is an underrated mare, isn't she? She's now a dual Group 1 winner, and to return first up from such a lengthy break, that's a really good performance.
She's got this real toughness in her own personality in the stable. She doesn't take any prisoners, and she takes
to the racecourse, and when she walked in the mountain yard yesterday, I was really pleased with her. She looked great.
When you
rail,
draw barrier 1, that was a textbook ride from a quality young man who has worked so hard to get back to the top of his game, Luke Curry. $15 winner, Suavito. Lucky Hustler, runner-up in another Group 1. Terrific performance, running second. And there's a fallout for Glenn Boss. Brad Bishop will give us all the details there. Hucklebuck from a wide gate was absolutely huge as well. There's all the sectional stars. You'll see Rising Romance and also Awesome Rock, who got back and hit the line stylishly, were some of the many eye catchers, including Lucky Hustler. All right, Matty, let's start talking about this great race, and let's concentrate first on the winner. That was a brilliant ride by Luke.
Terrific ride by Luke, and as Nigel sits up and so on, I thought Turn Me Loose was good enough. He missed a kick a little bit, then had to work up the hill. I know what you're thinking.
He was a bit
You're
revy,
thinking you just want to get a free dinner or something. So I thought he was good enough, and there was a nice... And Lucky Hustler, that's him, isn't it?
That's him.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hard luck runs in the race, and we'll go through the ones to follow out of it. But Simon, you take us through the key moments here.
Yeah, well, there's good speed up the hill. Mourinho goes forward. You can see in the black with Entirely Platinum and Turn Me Loose. Gets to his customary role. You see Suavito, 3 pairs back now from the leader on the fence, just getting a nice cushy run with Rebel Dane outside him. Stratum Star got across nice. OK, you'd be happy 3 deep with a little bit of cover as Entirely Platinum just rolls off the fence there a little bit.
I wonder if we could pause that vision right there, because look at the horse.
Terrific back behind, Trust and August there, who's in the yellow cap. He got a little bit revved up before the gates. Bow Creek back on the fence in the blue. He tries to dig up inside and follow Suavito, runs out of room because Lucky Hustler in the yellow kicks up outside him, uses his turn of foot. Now, I believe those behind Bow Creek there probably can't win the race due to the fact that it was good tempo, cushy runs, inside gates were always going to run best and probably get to the front and have their chance. So Hucklebuck to the outside, enormous. Boban was sensational because he was 3 and 4 deep for the entire. He wasn't that far off them. Lucky Hustler obviously stiff. And look, there was a couple of good runs there behind him, but barriers win races, cushy rides wins races. And
a lot tougher because this had 13 Group 1 winners in it, this race. And, you know, when you're having a look at horses coming around the corner here. Now, the leader here, Turn Me Loose, look, he's first up. He's never won first up before, and he did set a decent pace here, so he was entitled to get a bit weary. All the leaders around him started to collapse. Now, you'll see Suavito start to get the split between them here. Here she comes in the black and lime green there. Now, she won the Futurity first up at the last preparation, which was last autumn. It's been a long time off the scene. She had a few problems, and it's a great effort from Nigel Blackiston to get her up to the mark there. She's a very, very good mare first up there. I think her first up record is 5 runs now for 3 wins, a second and a third, so she's very good. Now, she gets that split there. She was over towards the fence, which I think by that time of the day, as the track starts to dry out at Caulfield, it gets more and more that way, and so she was in the right spot. There's Lucky Hustler in the yellow. Now, if you go back into the field there, Lucky Hustler and Bow Creek were right next to each other, and they were both looking for the same run. Lucky Hustler got there first, and poor old Bow Creek copped the backwash of it. He'd have finished off the race just as well there. Look, there are a stack of runs in this race you could be pleased about. I think that Lucky Hustler was unlucky, Bow Creek unlucky, Boban, Happy Trails finished off all right, Faulkner finished off all right for a 2,000, 2,400 metre horse. Hucklebuck, well, there he is running down the outside there in those pink colours, and he's got within a length and a half of the winner there. It was good enough to say that he's on target. Rising Romance. So they were entitled to finish off, but they did, and I'd be happy with all of them. Over 122.5, that's pretty good there.
Boban is a horse that needs cover, and he got sort of exposed a bit. It's not his go, so he's still run well there also. He's an ambush horse who needs, to be smothered back in the field on the inside, so you could make a case his run was good too. So
yeah, it was.
Like I said, lots of good runs, but full credit.
Where are we? I think you might have to go all the way back to Luskin Star. There was a big gap. A lot of years went missing, and they were the days when the Silver Slipper was run pre-Christmas. But Piero and Moss Fun in recent times have won the double. $1.55, Duff, your top 4 here.
Can't go past him. He's a quality colt. 2-6.
Monday. And we're ready now for the Silver Slipper. Stand by. Racing. Oh, from pole position, Mount Panorama missed the start. He's right back last. And the favourite Astern jumped well with Rafa's Choice. Rather sweet there, but Bowman continues to push forward on Astern. Pittsburgh goes to fourth. Defcon the outside from King of War. And 3 or 4 lengths away to Mount Panorama. Astern leads on settling from Rafa's Choice. Rather sweet Pittsburgh. Blake Shin couldn't get a spot in on Defcon, and he pushes forward on the outside with the pace even. A length and a half to King of War, and 3 off last is Mount Panorama. Coming to the turn, the hot favourite Astern leads from the roughy Rafa's Choice. Defcon no cover in third. Rather sweet back on the fence from Pittsburgh. King of War. Mount Panorama's tacking on into the straight. Astern leads from Rafa's Choice. Defcon being nursed here by Shin, giving chase to Astern, and Mount Panorama's closing off on the outside. Astern popped the question from Defcon and Mount Panorama. Here's a great battle. Astern and Defcon. Astern's kicking from Defcon. Mount Panorama can't get there. Astern starting to edge away, and Astern fended off the challenger Defcon. Mount Panorama third, then King of War from Rather Sweet. Pittsburgh and Rafa's Choice was last in.
Well, he was there to be beaten Astern. He looked very, very vulnerable there for the majority of the straight, but he's fought back. Hugh Bowman's been able to lift this horse. They've run 6
brings after that.
Yeah, not surprising. It looked a bit vulnerable late. It is just over 1 trial and first up.
And a very soft trial, Caroline. Would love.
2 out of the last 4 years, the winner of the Golden Slipper has won this race. We pick up, can I say, it was Shades of Vancouver, another colt by Medaglia Doro. The more you challenge him, the more they'll give you.
Well, he did. He had a soft lead up in front, and he had that lazy ride here while he led into the straight, and he just wanted to be challenged, Astern. Defcon was posted 3 deep. A little excuse there yesterday, but Astern, he had more in reserve, and he looked very powerful to the run of the line, and Mount Panorama was good, peeling off Defcon, and got stuck a little bit deep. So he's one to watch going forward, because you know with Team Hawkes he'll improve with fitness. Let's have a look at the Golden Slipper market. I don't know if there's any news out of this, Brad, from you, but Astern at $8. We know that Weatherly...
Hugh Bowman on board, filling in for James McDonald, who of course was in Melbourne. Astern leads, Defcon 3 wide no cover. Mount Panorama, we'll show you the start when we go back and have another look at this, but he came out last, and he was responsible for another good run.
Look, I don't think he should lose any admirers, Astern. I see that the tab fixed odds didn't want anything to do with the win. They showed a total disregard for the win and left him at $11. I thought the performance was worthy of more respect than that. He's a lovely colt. He's got a good racing style. He had his ears pricked and wanted to just wander there. They've come home the quickest last 600 of the day here, so you can't put a margin in them. Devcon, I'm just still wary of him when he gets to 1,200 metres. The performance of Mount Panorama was unbelievable, considering the sectionals of this race. He spent his lollies between the 800 and 200 after that slow start. So as we were thinking with him, back on a dry track, he was going to jump out of the ground, and he did there yesterday, although things didn't go to plan. If he would have jumped and stayed in touch, he would have made that race very interesting. But in saying that, this winner's got a lot of upside to come.
To him, you can't win doing it. But the winner... He was only going as fast as he had to in front. He had the ears pricked on the corner, and he was just waiting for something to come up and challenge him. And when something came, he found and found. I thought, like you, it was a better performance than it looked.
Yeah, I agree.
Because she's 245 and a solid favourite.
Yeah, she proved him wrong that day, didn't she? And look, she's 126 days off, 2 trials are good. Well, she's just a wonderful mare. She's got all the stats.
Millie Fox Stakes, and there is Catkins, the fave on screen. The grey, $2.30. Lockaway price, skinny on the tote at $1.90. 240, 250 back to 240 at on-course proceedings. First seal, 320 out to 370 back to 350. I've got the...
Blinkers on the last into stride, and press report jump well, but there goes Catkins moving up on the outside, and Skyline Blush. They're not going hard in the early part. I've got the looks. Camps in behind from First Seal, and 200 metres by 2 on press report. Catkins a clear third from I've got the looks. First Seal just sitting in a stalking position behind Catkins, and last of all is Telepathy as Skyline Blush keeps up the gallop in the lead by 2 on press report. Then Catkins from I've got the looks. First Seal, Telepathy Telepathic's last. They run around the corner now on the Millie Fox. Skyline Blush a length clear from Press Report. Catkins in third. First Seal a length behind her. It's Skyline Blush in front from Press Report. He goes for Catkins. First Seal is spreading hard. It's not going to happen for Catkins today. First Seal looms on the outside of Press Report. I've Got the Looks and Telepathic closing off. First Seal in front from I've Got the Looks. Telepathic in front. First Seal. Great return to racing. First Seal takes out the Millie Fox from Telepathic. I've Got the Looks third, then Press Report. Catkins couldn't sprint with them today, and Skyline Blush, having worked in the lead, finished back near last.
Well, just a wonderful training performance from John Thompson. To get her back here in that sort of form, first up to win at 1,300 metres, hats off to John Thompson, and indeed, First Seal, Ronnie.
Great. The one out of yesterday, First Seal. Great to see her back a winner. She goes to the Canterbury Stakes. 5 times she's raced Winx and never been beaten by Winx. Oh. And now she seems back on track after yesterday's victory. So.
Just out of that race.
Another era of the great horses.
And just out of that first, Catkins. She finished off a tail last. Have we heard any news with her?
No serious injury reports or anything like that with Catkins. Just didn't really pan out for her when she... First Seal goes past her and just sort of puts her in a bit of a pocket there and shoves her back, but it just wasn't the same Catkins that we do know and can see.
Well, she finishes last. She was a defending champion there, and considering that she was near last at Caulfield before she went for a spell and then returns and finishes last there, that's not the Catkins that we expect. So how long does she keep racing? What do they do with her? Well, we'll leave it in the hands of the great trainer Chris Waller.
Telepathic was the one that was the eye catcher. Missed the kick terribly there. Jason Collett rode her for luck up on the fence. She's the black booker coming out of it.
You mentioned Vancouver. When you were doing that
issue, obviously she's put on weight and matured a little bit more, so there's a fine line in getting a horse ready. Look, she carried good condition, but she'd had a beautiful preparation coming into this with 2 trials and a track gallop, exhibition gallop. She rattled off a great sectional there between the 4 and the 2 to just get up to them quickly and then assert a little bit of superiority late. Great to see her back in winning form, and full credit to John Thompson, I say. He's done a masterful job with this mare. I'd say a little bit of pressure's been on him. She'd lose her way a little bit if you can lose your way. When I say lost her way, she was a beaten favourite 3 times straight last preparation, but great to see her back. I think the horse of Telepathic has gone very, very good there. Back in distance, first time in blinkers. I've Got the Looks. What you see is what you get. Just struggles at 1,300. The talking point of the race was Catkins. She just didn't show really much interest there. So they have to go back to the drawing board and decide what they do with her, whether they stop with it.
Can't get away from 1 to beat 5, 8 and 6.
OK, a press statement on track 190. We'll hear from Chris Waller in just a moment.
Couldn't back anything to beat him, although I'd locked into a bet on Shards earlier in the week, and I'm comfortable with that.
All right. A couple of these winning would not be a surprise outside the favourite press statement, who is odds on, as we go to Darren for the Hobartville Stakes, the 7th here at Rosehill Gardens.
First up since his success in the Group 1 Champion Stakes at Randwick, Vanbrugh drawn the outside for his return to racing. And we're all set now on the Hobartville Stakes. Stand by for a start. And they're off and racing. Montaigne just missed the start of Fraction, and Shards gets back, and the favourite press statement jump well together with Wolf Cry on the outside, and Spill the Beans is bursting through. Spill the Beans and Wolf Cry the leaders in the early part from Dalcello, and press statement right there in 4th. Then Balmain Boy from Le Remain, Too Good to Refuse. In the second half of the field, Etymology from Torgerson, Tarquin caught deep from Montaigne, Shards and Vanbraugh's being snagged back to last. Matthew Cameron's got Spill the Beans in front, steadies the speed from Wolf Cry. Dalcello 3rd, the favourite press statement 4th, 1 out, 1 back. Then Balmain Boy from Le Remain. Further back to Torgus and Etymology, Too Good to Refuse between them. Then Shards from Tarquin, Montaigne, and Vanbraugh's the last one down the side of the course. It's Spill the Beans, a neck in front of the 600 from Wolf Cry. Dalcello, press statement, slides up 3 wide now before the turn. Le Remain gets onto his back, followed by Balmain Boy, Torgerson, Too Good to Refuse, and Vanbrugh to the outside. inside. Into the straight, Spill the Beans being tackled by Wolfcry. Bowman sits quietly on Press Statement. Press Statement slides up to join the leaders. Le Romain giving chase. He says, go boy now on Press Statement. A length clear from Le Romain and Wolfcry. Press Statement in front. The gun 3-year-old edging clear in the Hobart field. And Press Statement makes it look easy. Le Romain second. Montaigne got up for third. In front of Spill the Beans. Then Wolfcry, Dalcello. Etymology closing off nicely. Then Balmain Boy from Torgerson Shards. Good margin back to Vanbrugh. Too good to refuse. And they were the last couple to finish.
Well, Press Statement is back with a bang, and we see those colours successful yet again. The China Horse Club colours, First Seal originally, and now Press Statement and Hugh Bowman.
Take out of it, the main thing to take out of it, he's just a top-class racehorse, the winner, Press Statement. He knows how to win. He's got a beautiful pattern of racing, and he...
Trainer, so... He showed from barrier 8 today he can put himself in a race. Barrier 8's hard. Everyone wants to be where he was today, but only one or two jockeys can get there in a race. They can't knock each other down. They've got to do it within the rules of racing, and good horses allows angles to happen and things like that, and a good jockey like Hugh Bowman makes it look so easy. So
you love this boy.
He looked nice and forward first up for his first 7 furlong gallop there yesterday, and it was a good test for him too, because the Waller team have got Royal Ascot in mind. It's a searching 6 furlong gallop with 2 rises at Royal Ascot, and here Huey Bowman just bounced him out on the speed, rode him nice and forward like he did in a Caulfield Guineas, and Matty, he was just too strong when he pressed the button.
I think we're about to realise what we were just talking about before. This is an era of great horses. We've got Press Statement and Exosphere. These two they're great colts, you know, and we've got the Mongolian Khans, Winks next week, and Chautauqua and all these great horses. This is the eve of a great 3 or 4 years of wonderful horses taking on the world. Press Statement, he's a limousine, isn't he? He's got that limousine-y sort of ease.
We'll probably only see him for another 3 races.
Well, that's true.
He's going to binary.
Yeah,
so.
Well, true, but we've just got that much depth behind them, and those that will endure, like the Mongolian Khans and Turn Me Looses, both trained by Murray Bates. Winks.
Murray gets a mention.
Winks got to run.
I think he's very, very good. He's just one of these no-nonsense racehorses that owners love, jockeys love, trainers love, punters love, because there's never a moment's concern with him. He's a horse you can make 2 runs in a race, you can settle him, you can switch him on. He's a winner. I reckon he's come back better than ever. Whatever Chris Waller runs him in, he's going to be hard to beat. He is a very, very good racehorse, this fellow, believe me. So, always in control there. This horse, Le Romain, was pretty good. I got no doubt about that. And look, Spill the Beans, I just thought was a little bit, obviously, before the race, suspected 1400. Anthony's horse, Cummings' horse, running third there. Well, that was a real eye-catcher, Montaigne. He was back in distance, up in class. He stamped himself as a live chance for the, obviously the Randwick Guineas or even the Rosehill Guineas. But this horse just stands alone to my eye, and Press Statement, he's an absolute beauty.
He is, because, he's almost push-button now too. He wasn't earlier on. He was a bit wayward, did a few things wrong. He's big and awkward, but now he's not, because he jumped straight to the front in that race. He was the first one out of the gates, which allowed him then to take up just the beautiful position. He was just, you see him, he jumped in front there, and then it's a matter of, well, where do I want to sit here? What's going to go around me? And he found the beautiful spot, 1 out, 1 back. And from then on, it was just a matter of whether he was good enough. They ran 1:22.5 in that, which is good time for the 1400 metres, and ran 33 3/4 home, which was as good as any at that distance on the day. So it's not as if they dawdled in front in that race and just made it a sprint home. They ran along at a fair pace, and he just out-sprinted everything, and they had their chance. I agree with you. Montaigne, he's desperate now for 1600 or 2000 metres, and he's going to be a hell of a horse to beat, I reckon, when they get to those distances. And Vanbrugh, he was at the back of the field there, had to travel wide for a fair bit of it. I thought he finished off well enough to say when the distances get up to distances that suit him, which is probably another 500 metres on this, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I agree. He wasn't ready yesterday, Vanbrugh. This grey horse of Les Bridges, Balmain Boy, he's just sort of way out of his depth as far as grade's concerned. Just look out for him. He's still got a belly on him, and I just think he's a real improver. I don't know race he can win, but I reckon he's got something, that horse, Balmain Boy. It wasn't obvious there, but he's eligible for a midweek one-win race sort of thing. So look out for him in the future. With the winner, with the winner, like he was.
Beat him in the Randwick Guineas.
Well, stay tuned. I say nothing at this stage at a mile. Maybe the Rosehill Guineas he might be a little bit more vulnerable, but I say untouchable at a mile.
What about that at the moment for Perfect Reflection? That is our favourite. Now, that is a better price than you're getting on track at the moment, because CrownBet punters are not piling into Perfect Reflection as they are on course at the moment.
Of the Oaks during the spring.
I expect her to run well, whether that's winning. There's quite a few good horses in this race, but obviously her record suggests that she's a good horse too, so hopefully she...
And Perfect Reflection, one of the slower ones to move. She drifts back as usual and she'll settle second last. And Sacred Eye is the first one to bounce out of the stalls and goes to the front. Leads by a length and a half to Italy, Alaskan Rose, and they're followed by Jamaica on the outside, a little bit fresh between runners. 2 lengths further back is Don't Doubt Mama. Perfect Reflection is second last, and Egypt at the end of the field. By the 1,000 metres, and Sacred Eye about a neck in front. Italy's running second, 2 lengths away Jamaica. She's outside Alaskan Rose, a length and a half away then came Don't Doubt Mama. In on the rail is Perfect Reflection, and a length and a half away is Egypt at the tail. About 5 or 6 is covering them. It's just a moderate tempo, and Sacred Eye about a neck in front to Italy. Alaskan Rose right behind them, third on the inside, and then Jamaica poised 1-1. Right behind these horses, Perfect Reflection. She's 3 pairs back on the inside from Don't Doubt Mama and Egypt. Around the turn, and Sacred Eye narrowly from Italy. Jamaica's peeled out 3 wide. Alaskan Rose waits on the run. Perfect Reflection running up behind them, hasn't got clear room, and Don't Doubt Mama on the outside. At the 3, Sacred Eye being tackled by Jamaica, and Jamaica loomed up, and Don't Doubt Mama's on the scene as well. It's now Don't Doubt Mama and Jamaica with Sacred Eye fighting back. Perfect Reflection in the clear, but it might be a bit late, and it's Don't Doubt Mama who's driven to the lead. Egypt flies home, but Don't Doubt Mama wins from Egypt. Photo third between Perfect Reflection and Jamaica. They're followed behind those is Alaskan Rose and Sacred Eye, and last to finish is Italy.
Don't Doubt Mama, she is a very good filly indeed. We spoke to Tony McAvoy before the race. He was confident she'd run well. First up's always been a bit of a query, so she is in for a very good campaign. Look, and Perfect Reflection may well end up finishing third in a tight photo there with Jamaica on the inside, and it looks like yes.
Or we could go 3 weeks to the Coolmore in Sydney. So there's a few options. Look, I've just got to sit down with Peter and his partner.
At the Group 2, Group 3 level, she certainly measured up there. She's entitled to have a crack at the Group 1s coming up shortly. Terrific win. Egypt and Eyecatcher late. Perfect Reflection held up, ends up running stylishly home, though Egypt certainly does give it a head start at the top of the straight and go past it. Jamaica, the Oaks winner, first up, was serviceable. Sacred Eye in an unusual spot there, leading as well. Maybe I'll go firstly to you, Brad, to get some news out of this. The fillies, what of the fillies are going towards an Australian Guineas?
Well, Perfect Reflection, a little bit up in the air whether you're going to persist with the Guineas campaign. Both Ben Melham and Darren Weir are keen to get her out to 1,600 metres, but both were slightly disappointed in the run yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see where...
Perfect Reflection there, who was unbeaten until this point, but got herself in an awkward spot there by just being a bit negative out of the gates. I know that's a racing style, but in 1,400 metre races at Flemington, if you're negative out of the gates from an inside gate, you will look for trouble. So anyway, it was a good ride on Don't Tell Mama. He just kept Perfect Reflection where he could see her and in a pocket. Loomed up. This was a first run back from a spell, so a good effort of 1,400 metres. Sacred Eye, I thought was good. Jamaica was okay. Sorry, Don't Doubt Mama on the with the blue colours there. Did just finished off the race better there. Now, just on that, I think if you go back at a 1,400 metre race like the way Perfect Reflection did, you do look for trouble. She did finish off well, but it was the filly Egypt on the outside of her. Finished off a little better than her over the last little bit. So she'd come out of a midweek at Sandown at a last start. So that was a a pretty good effort there and a big lift in class there, but it does make you question where they sit on that.
And this is the Group 3 CS Hayes Stakes over 1,400 metres for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. That'll be progressing on to races such as the Australian Guineas in a few weeks' time, of course, named after one of the true legends of Australian racing, Colin Sydney Hayes. He was an initial inductee into the Australian Racing Hall of Fame and, well, the patriarch of one autumn day here. And Palantino is the favourite. $3.40 now to $3.50, so a marginal drift. River Wild, the filly, the Zara, as the horses are loading for the CS Hayes Stakes. Here's Greg.
Set at Flemington. All their away, funny old start, and River Wild missed it by 4 or 5 lengths. He's a clear last. Tulsa goes back and so does Tavachi. And Top Me Up began brilliantly today. He lands in front of Vostok and Bon Aurum. Right behind them then is Lizard Island. A length further back is Patch Adams Gold Symphony. 2 lengths behind these horses then in the field. At the head of the others is the favourite Palantino. He's about 7 or 8 from the leader. Being followed then by Ready for Victory, who's surging around them. Being followed then by River Wild down on the inside, a long way from the lead. Taking off round the outside is Tavachi as they've bunched right up and they've slammed the brakes on these leaders. Sovereign Nation was next as they sweep towards the home turn, and Tulsa is last of all. Up towards the bend they race now, and Top Me Up had the lead. 600 metres left to go. Here's a narrow leader from on the outside, Vostok and Bon Aurum. Ready for Victory's gone up 4 wide in the yellow blinkers, and the baldy-faced Palantino comes deeper still. Lizard Island's in behind them, and Tavachi is out widest on the course. Top Me Up at the 400 leads from Bon Aurum. Vostok under pressure. So is Palantino, but he responds. And Tavachi next, and out wider was Tulsa. He's starting to close late. It's Tavachi racing up to tackle Top Me Up. Palantino tries to go with Tavachi. Tulsa just getting onto their heels. Palantino and Tavachi. Palantino's coming back. Palantino finding the line. Palantino a brave win from Tavachi. Photo third, Lizard Island or Tulsa. Then Sovereign Nation, Bon Aurum, River Wild. Patch Adams followed by Ready for Victory, Top Me Up. Next in the finish was Gold Symphony, and at the end of the field is Vostok.
Oh, that was gutsy. Palantino, he fights back for the punters. It looked like Tavachi all the way up the straight, monstering him on the outside, but Palantino, he was gutsy to the end. He's fought back, heading into the Australian Guineas. Tulsa, his stablemate, has run an improved race, and Lizard Island not far away. Gator, it was a messy...
On his heels, but where Craig Williams gets into trouble about the...
There you have it. Interference 900 metres from home has been deemed so significant that Tavachi has now been elevated to first in the CS Hayes Stakes. Extraordinary. So Craig Williams has argued very strongly about the protest, the interference causing him so much lost ground and lost running. And
Sovereign Nation, Bon Aurum.
We watched that race about 10 times, and there was 10 different eye-catching runs that you need to follow for the future. What to do with it? Well, Tavachi is the winner, and Palantino, the favourite, wins the race but loses it in the protest hearing. All right, Matty, let's cut to the chase. Right decision or wrong decision, your gut feel in regards to the protest?
Right decision, but with an asterisk that needs clarification, because to me, one of the issues here is if the jockey is pretty much not culpable at all, say...
Here's the interference, Mark Zahra about to come out.
Mark Zahra's, there's a terrible slowing up of the speed, there's referred interference back in the field, he's about to run on heels, veers off, and in doing so takes Tavachi off the track. If you decide, I think what happened here, though, is the stewards determined that the interference that Zahra is referring to happened 100 metres further back. So they didn't see him as entirely blameless, but I think most punters watching it saw Mark Zahra completely blameless, reacting to sort of save himself and save his horse, and as a byproduct of that, he knocks into Tavachi. So if the perpetrator isn't really a perpetrator, if he's a victim too, can you take the race off them? And then the arguments against that is the simple maths argument, isn't it? Lost 2 lengths, beaten ahead, must overturn the result. But I just...
It wasn't due to the horses coming back in his lap.
So you reckon right decision?
Well, it was a right decision.
Just a little example of...
Equal favourite with Palantino. Mahuta's there. Perfect reflection. Will it go that way? Well, we'll chat to Brad shortly to get the latest news from an Australian Guineas point of view. Tarzino at $9. Risque, the filly over from New Zealand, was terrific first.
Mark just slammed the brakes on, which caused... Well, I don't know.
Why would you do that in the 1400 at Flemington?
He just slammed the brakes on and it just stacked. Here it is. He stacked everything up behind him. Now, there's Palantino. You can see him in those colours, and Tavachi is outside him, gets carted straight off the course by him. Now, there's no doubt that it's cost Tavachi more than half a head because he's had to go 6 deep from there on, where he would have been 3 deep, perhaps with cover. But the question here is not whether it cost him enough to lose the race, because it clearly did. It's whether Mark Zahra on Palatino had any choice but to do what he did. Now, stewards looked at it, questioned Zahra about it, and believed that he did have a choice. He could have gone back inside the horse.
Rubbish.
That's what they... But they're looking at 3 and 4 different angles that we're not seeing. That's the complication.
Well, the few angles I saw of that race, it was a racing incident. If we're going to start judging 900 metres from home for some, you know, I'm saying I could nearly suspend the blokes up front for stacking up to causing the danger to the horses. But I was totally against that decision. I think it's a brave decision. We're going to want
4 and 11 for the Group 3 CS Hayes Stakes. This is the big one of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Group 1 Black Caviar Lightning Stakes. It's the 62nd running of the series, and of course it's the first leg of the 2016 Global Sprint Challenge. Horse number 1 is the outstanding Chautauqua. He's trained by Team Hawkes, to be ridden by Dwayne Dunn. He is the favourite on track. He opened at $2.50, a marginal drift now to $2.60.
Yeah, last 3 fresh wins have been brilliant. All his straight form's outstanding. The score's
Terra Vista, who's getting support on track. $7 now into $6.50. Trained by Joe Pride, to be ridden by Damien Oliver.
trialled well, probably not as well as Exosphere, but he was terrific. Won 5 of 6 fresh. He probably has the best turn of foot of any of these gallopers.
This is my pick of the yard. Terra Vista looks an absolute treat. He looked
place in the last hour. Let's have a look what the market is saying now with crownbet.com.au. Chautauqua as well, set for Terra Vista as well, $7 into $5.50. Japanese.
Oh, exactly. He's a Usain Bolt, so I mean, you want them up on their toes. I mean, you know, it's not grand final day, but I mean, you know, it's first up, and they're all keyed up, ready to go, and he's really well.
They're ready for the Black Caviar, and they're off. Exosphere just took a bit of a left-hander at the start. Chautauqua drops in for the trail lead. Varpensero away flying, and they split in divisions here. Varpensero leads out Exosphere, and they're coming towards the middle to inside. And out on the grandstand side, Japanesma shows the way from Terra Vista Delectation, and Chautauqua last of the 4 out on the grandstand side. 600 left to go, and they're 2 divisions wide apart. But on this side, Japanesma showing the way, and I'd say he's the overall leader in the race from Delectation. Terra Vista, Chautauqua clear air on the outside. The far side now, and McDonald's getting going on Exosphere. He's gone past Varpensero, but can he get into the race? Japanesma leads Terra Vista at the 200. Chautauqua struggling to get near them at the moment. Exosphere's putting in a big run on the far side. Terra Vista's burst through in the middle, 100 to go. Leads from Japanesma, Exosphere. Chautauqua's flying home. He's flying. They hit the line. A photo. Oh, Chautauqua dived at Terra Vista in a close go. Japanesma will be 3rd. Back behind them, Exosphere and Delectation, and last in Varpensero. Has he got there? Photo will tell us.
He's got there. He's got there in the final bound. Chautauqua. We can hardly hear.
Complete jet, isn't he?
Oh, he's a good horse. You know, I hope the crowd were excited, because where it was from my seat, it wasn't real pleasant for a while. But gee, what about the turn of foot late and his endeavour to hit the line, and a good little monkey to get off my back. You know, John gave me great confidence before the race to go back and just keep him out on his own. And when they split in the middle, it was like, oh, what do we do now? But the best horses were on the outside, so I thought I'd go that way.
And he just lifts for you under pressure. I mean, he just loves it late.
Yeah, as John said to me, he said, listen, ride him like the Valley. If you're going to win, you're only going to get him in the last 50 metres, and you know, you've got the horse underneath you.
Wins we've seen. Sure, headwise as well, and he's now won the first of the International Sprint Series, so I think if all things go well, obviously TJ in Australia, Hong Kong, and then we'll go and sell out of the Queen.
Well, it's going to be a great journey unfolding.
Yeah, the 200, when he put one round his backside, it wasn't the greatest feeling, because where you stand here in the mountain enclosures right at the 200, so you get to watch it all live. But, you know, I said to Rupert when they went out, and it's easy to say it now, but today was going to be his most vulnerable day. You know, you're soft, you're underdone. He normally has 2 jump outs. He only had 1. we've got a long, long way to go and everything like that. And I mean, he spelled the best he's ever spelled. He only had 4 weeks down at the Mornington.
Almost at risk of understating how great a race and how amazing that race was in less than 60 seconds. I think it's the greatest, most exciting multi-chaptered race I think I've ever seen. You got the
soft, he was underdone. It's easy to say that now, but you know the truth was that's the truth. And he normally has 2 jump outs, and we only had time to give him 1. And if he was going to get beat, this was a race he was going to get beaten in. So onwards and upwards from here.
And Wayne, you get together with your job.
Spear, Chautauqua's flying home. He's flying. They hit the line. A photo. Oh, Chautauqua dived at Terra Vista in a close go. Japanisma will be third. Back behind them, Exos.
How good was that? Great win to Chautauqua. And the son of Incrostalago continues on to build his brilliant record. $2.80 favourite. Terra Vista runner-up in a Group 1 there at $6.50. What a performance by Japanismi. I think he's better than I thought he was. He's at $7. They run 57.02. The last 600 metres, 32.0. Put 3 the field. 32.05 for Chautauqua. 21.75. 11.26. You simply can't go quicker than that in the last 600 metres. All right, let's have a look at the key parts of the race, Simon, and we'll talk about it from a jockey's point of view. And the first question I'll ask you is, what did James McDonald do on Exosphere? Did he make a mistake, or was it just circumstance?
No, not at all. When you go into these Group 1 races in particular, you must have an A plan, a B plan and a C plan if something goes wrong. Let's have a look at the stewards' film, folks. Here we go for the ride, the 1,000 metres down the straight. Watch Exosphere. He jumps to the right. He moves in 3 to 4 horses right there. Now, you look at Chautauqua in the gold cap to your left. That's Far Pensiero in front of him. Dwayne Dunn snags, and he goes to the outside, the Japanismi, Terra Vista and Delectation. J-Max right on the heels of Far Pensiero here, and he half checks and goes to the right once again. Now there's 6 horses between Chautauqua going to the left as green.
Should he made a decision there, though?
Right there, J-Mac is committed. I believe he wanted to make... He's been stalking other runners.
Take a breath, big boy. Take a breath.
Well, I reckon J-Mac, when he wanted to make the decision to come right, it was too late because Pensiero had come across his heels. So I think I excuse J-Mac, but I think it was a disaster after that. Wayne, your thoughts?
Simon will have a chat about Damien Oliver with his magic act as well. Chautauqua is the $5 favourite for the Newmarket. Does he go that way?
Still not 100% sure. We want to see what weight they're going to give him. There's every chance we could follow Deep Field last year and go back to Sydney on Newmarket Handicap Day, and there's a not a set weights, but it's a maximum. I think it's 61. And then go on to the TJ. TJ's the one we want because it's a
market where I'm sure Chautauqua is the favourite. $3 v Exosphere for Mark 2. Terra Vista looks over the odds, doesn't it? $11.
There's a lot to talk about.
OK, well, let's have it on the outside on the day, and we'll talk about that. It leads him up. There's Chautauqua at the back biding his time. Terra Vista in the orange goes up to Japanisma, and he's got a good turn of foot, Terra Vista. We all know that. There's Exosphere. James has decided it is no good over there. Val Pensiero's no use to him whatsoever. He's come out to the middle of the track, but he's been swamped by these others on the outside. Now, Damien just fumbled for his whip there, and he's just got nailed on the line, so people are going to say, oh, if he'd have drawn the whip. But if you look at the head-on shot of this, when Damien does get the whip on that horse, it doesn't go any faster. So I'm not sure how much difference that made. But
I don't know. You look at the side-on, I reckon the horse hesitates when it happens.
Yeah, I agree with Ronnie on that too.
You reckon it did cost him?
No,
I'm not certain. Here, look at the head-on here. You'll see Damien, he's riding in the orange colours there. He hasn't gone for the horse yet. He hasn't gone. They've given Chautauqua a cut with the stick there and a couple more. Still hasn't gone. And he drops it and picks it up again, Damien. It's just an unfortunate accident. Well, I don't know. He didn't seem to go any faster, did he?
I think the side-on's more relevant to that situation there, but...
All right. Well, anyway, Chautauqua's last 400 metres of the race in 21.96. Now, I think only Black Caviar and maybe 2 or 3 others in history can run those sort of sectionals.
Exosphere. You could see there for a few strides after the jump, McDonald had positioned his head to go out, but he couldn't clear Var Pensiero, he was dictated to. But John O'Shea told Ronnie and I, we spoke to John at Rose Hill, and he said, we definitely got the tactics wrong.
But watching that, Varpensiero did James no favours just for that first part of the race.
I don't know why Craig Newitt was so keen to go over that side on Varpensiero. I would have thought he would have come to the outside. Anyway, he didn't. And I think what got into James McDonald's head was he'd won the previous straight race on a Estaminet and come up the inside of the course and thought...
But they were all there.
They were all there. There was no one on the outside. The outside lane was clearly the fastest.
If he'd watched Weatherly, he wouldn't have been anywhere near there.
I think he expected everyone to go out wide, but he got caught with the old three-card trick where he was just forced there.
You don't want to take that away from the winner. The winner is a superstar.
Savaged the line.
I mean, have you seen horses? Who do you reckon could run that sort of last 400 metres? 21.96.
Well, probably only, in more recent times, someone like Black Caviar.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, look, that's a great field, and I don't want to take anything away from that race. That was obviously the best we've got.
That's exactly right. Chautauqua comes back to Sydney. We can't wait for it to go around in the TJ Smith. It could go to Hong Kong. It could go to Royal Ascot.
Yep,
he's a sprinting superstar.
I wouldn't be frightened to keep Exosphere going for Royal Ascot as well. You know, I thought it was better than it looked. Everyone canned him, said, "Oh, 2 runs up the straight and he's failed both times." But I think he's had excuses both times.
A comment about comes back to Sydney. We can't wait for it to go around in the TJ Smith. It could go to Hong Kong. It could go to Royal Ascot.
Yep,
he's a sprinting superstar.
I wouldn't be frightened to keep Exosphere going for Royal Ascot as well. You know, I thought it was better than it looked. Everyone canned him, said, "Oh, 2 runs up the straight and he's failed both times." But I think he's had excuses both times.
A comment about the track.